Hello. So I feel like even though we're both on here and therefore should technically know how this works, I shall tell you once more that April was a month that happened. I read some books and I'm here to talk to you about them, even though I probably shouldn't because I have no voice. But you know what? I have a cup of tea, so it's fine. That's self-care, right? So I thought this was kind of the worst reading month for me in a while, but objectively, just looking at the books, still not bad. But anyway, I'll start off by saying that I reread Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Found this beautiful edition, so I'm very happy with that. This is part of one of my modules, so I reread it for that and annotated everything, so it's all like a madman's journal, to be quite honest, but I really enjoyed that. And in case you somehow don't know, this follows the story of Dr. Victor Frankenstein, who is an egomaniac that decides to bring corpses back to life-ish, put them together, and then bring them back as a creature that's like a wretch of a being and whatnot. So this holds. This still slaps, as the children say. I can't tell you how much I enjoy Mary Shelley's writing, and I despise Victor Frankenstein as a character. The creature, I'm still on the fence about. I think he's like a good corpse with anxiety that did some pretty shitty things but could have been redeemable. It's all the nature versus nurture thing. You know what I'm saying? So I think thematically this is doing wonderful things. I think the characterization of the creature and Frankenstein is really great. I think the social commentary is wonderful. I think it's just like one of those books that really, really makes you think and analyze life and your thoughts and the world, and I really appreciate that. And I think it's one of those classics that I will always go back to and find more things to think about. And I found some things that are very interesting reframed after having had the lecture, and I'm like, I haven't really thought about it that way, so that was really good as a process as well. But yes, objectively still one of my favorite books. It was for years, and I thought maybe it mightn't hold as a reread, but it did, so I'm very, very happy about that. Because why not? I also read a proof of Jeanette Winterson's Frankenstein, which is a modern retelling of Frankenstein. I think this is out in May, if I'm correct. I think it's 28th or so of May, but yes, this is a modern retelling of Frankenstein, and it is kind of split into two different timelines almost. It's almost two stories that parallel one another, and I thought they would intersect at some point, but there's no obvious intersection. You could read one into it, but outwardly there's no obvious spoken connection. So it's pretty much retelling the life of Mary Shelley herself as she is writing Frankenstein in the past. And then it follows Dr. Shelley, who goes to this tech convention where Victor Stein is talking about AI and robots, and it's wild. It's very interesting as a concept and a novel of ideas and thoughts and all of that, but it's also really fucking weird. You know what I'm saying? So I should have probably looked more into it. Just remember Jen Campbell mentioning this in a video, and I was like, you know what? I want to read that at some point. And so I saw it work, and I'd reread Frankenstein, so it seemed like a good time. There's fucking sex bots. That's a whole plot in this. It's really strange, and it's doing interesting things because Rye is transgender, and he decided to have top surgery but not bottom surgery. So even the quote on the back is, "I am what I am, but what I am is not one thing, not one gender. I live with doubleness." So it's really challenging the binary and the thought process of characters in the book, but also I think with them of the reader themselves. I really enjoy seeing some reviews by trans reviewers for this, because I'm not sure if everything was handled properly, even with Rye himself, to be quite honest. I think at some point he says that he was a woman, but now he's a man, so I don't know how politically correct that languages, that wording, and since you can tell every word in this has been really thought through, I'm not sure if I can excuse that, and I'm not sure if it's going to be kept with the final version. I don't know, but it's really interesting, and I do have to say there's a lot of violence and transphobia in this, so it's mostly challenged on the page, but if you don't enjoy that, definitely steer away from this. And there's also a sexual assault scene that's a lot, so if that also triggers you, just so you're prepared. And then just to take it away, because that was a lot for me, clearly. Even though I read one of them at the beginning of the month and one towards the end, it's still a lot, can you tell? So I wanted something to distract myself. I wanted a change of tone, so I took out Heartstopper by Alice Osman from my library. This is a really cute love story between two boys in high school, or I guess secondary school because it's in the UK. It's a general favorite of the bookternet. As I was reading it, I realized I'd actually read part of the webcomic years ago when my friend Theo first sent it to me. So as I was reading, I'm like, am I tripping? Why is this so familiar? It's really soft. It's really cute. It's really just heartwarming and sweet and soft. And I think the second volume is coming out soon, so I look forward to that. It doesn't add that much to the webcomic that I read, but it was nice to refresh my memory. If you're a fan of Check Please, which I also read on Theo's recommendation as a webcomic a while ago, I'd say you would like this. But if you like soft queer romances, you like graphic novels, a really good one. And I think we're getting into the creme de la creme and whatnot. I read Red Scrolls of Magic by Cassandra, Clare, and Wesley Chu, which is the first book in the Eldest Curses series in the Shadowhunter world. So this is set in between books 3 and 4, I believe, in the Mortal Instruments series. So you get to see Magnus and Alec, who are two of the protagonists of that series, being gay and in love, and it's towards the beginning of their relationship, so everything is uncertain, and it's all just it's so heartwarming and wonderful, and it's so funny in that Cassie Clare way. And I'm not going to go into the whole Shadowhunter history if you don't know what this is about, but it's part of that whole world. Definitely wouldn't recommend it as an introduction to the series, but it's a wonderful addition. It does kind of read as fan fiction for her own series, but I'm not mad at that because I love the series, I love the characters, and I love that she's in the position where she can just write that, and it's wonderfully diverse in the Cassie Clare way, so it feels natural, but it feels good, to read it. It's diverse in terms of race, sexuality, a lot of these things are discussed on the page. I love Magnus Bane as a protagonist. I read the Bane Chronicles last month in preparation for this, and I still think he was always, a character in all senses of the world. But now that you finally get to see things from his perspective, even though he's always been there, but never really front and center, it's all so touching because he's aspirational. He's a lot, but there's also something painfully relatable about parts of his experiences, and it's so good. And I think Cassie Clare is so good at developing the whole idea of mortality and, this really long life, and putting that inside the storyline, and I don't even have the words. And it's also really nice because you get cameos from different other characters from Cassie's books, and some of them feel like, hi, just here to make you smile because you know me, and others are just like, wow, I missed you so much because you're not present anymore in other books, and it's just really nice. And I do think you should read the Bane Chronicles ideally before reading this, because some of the stories are really funny anecdotes, or useful anecdotes, I guess, especially Raphael's story, to understand more of this or just bring you more joy. I just really love the Bane Chronicles as well, so you know. But yes, I really, really enjoyed this, and I can't wait for the next book in the series. So, it is a truth universally acknowledged that I really am trash for it. Samantha Shannon's Prairie of the Orange Tree, which is a feminist high fantasy retelling of the St. George and the Dragon, whatever story. But I read her first book ages ago, years ago, like 5 years, 6 years, it was so long. I really liked it back in the day, but I really wanted to revisit it because I can't continue on with the series because I don't remember the first one. So I was like, you know, I love this one. I remember loving the first one when I first read it, so why don't I bite the bullet and get the audiobook from the library? Such a good choice. So I read The Bone Season on audio, I read The Mime Order on audio, and then because my library didn't have it on audio, I got The Song Rising in this beautiful format. This is the last copy they had like this. I'm so happy I found it. And this is pretty much an alternate history, fantasy, futuristic series about underground clairvoyant mafia, I guess, in London. And it's so strange and hard to describe, which seems to be just like a theme for Samantha Shannon. Can't tell you very much because I don't really know what would be considered a spoiler and whatnot, and obviously 2 of these books are sequels, so I can't go into depth, but I will say that Samantha Shannon just solidifies her place as one of my favorite authors of all time. This is now one of my favorite series of all time. I think Paige Mahoney as a protagonist is just one of the most wonderfully fleshed out, dumb bitch energy radiating characters I've ever read about. I think the themes are beautiful, the writing, the world building, it's all so wonderful and just it's so painfully relevant to society, mostly in some parts, and each of the books has such a different tone to the others, and I cannot wait for the 4th one. Do we even have a title? No, we don't. I know I'm not going to say things because they might be spoilers, but I'm really highly looking forward to that because these were just great. And then the one I'm still reading as of today, April 30th. I almost forgot what day it was. It's fine. The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. Everyone and their mother has been raving about this. I was very kindly sent a copy from Titan Books in exchange for an honest review. You know the spiel. This is pretty much the love child of every paranormal, fabulous thing ever. And I love it so much. It feels, I can't explain it, but it feels like 2012 media. You know, it's got that very specific aesthetic and vibe and feel to it, but it's a lot more woke and a lot gayer, and that's wonderful. So it pretty much follows this small, whimsical town where this magical evil forest resides, and the kids of the founding families of the town have to like figure out how to work their powers in order to protect themselves, their families, and the town. And there's murdery things happening, and there's magical-y things happening, and there's angsty things happening. And it's just so good. So good. I'm devouring it. Haha, pun unintended. But it reminds me a lot of that elusive fabulism of the Raven Boys, and then it also feels ambiguous enough for you to keep reading just to find out more, but it's also just really touching and thought-provoking and thoughtful, and I got so attached to the characters in so little time, even though I didn't think I would. So it does feel like that 2012 paranormal show goodness that I need more of in my life. It's like everything Riverdale would want to be, you know, just saying. And I love it very much so far. I think I have about 120-ish pages left, so I'm gonna be very sad to finish it, but I think it's gonna have a sequel, so that's great for me. Yes, these are all the books that I read in the month of April. I feel like I probably went on for ages anyway, even though I thought I hadn't read that much. That's fine. As you can tell, my voice is just dying, so I'm gonna finish my tea, I'm gonna take a nap, and I'll see you in my next one. Thank you for watching. Bye!